G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Scotland versus Argentina for the fourth time this year. They have played a 3-test series in July, and Argentina did come out on top with a 2-1 win, especially in the last test match where Argentina had to clutch that final try to win the test match. So yeah, Scotland has the chance to technically level the series at home with the fourth test that's going to be happening tomorrow morning. So yeah, let's have a look at what's happening between the two nations. So overall, the stats between the two results between the two nations are actually quite close, surprisingly. I thought Scotland will probably be ahead for the most part. But yeah, turns out Argentina actually leads Scotland by 1 win overall throughout the two teams' history. And most recently, Argentina, yeah, like I said, has beaten Scotland in that 3-test series in July. This will be the decider, I guess, for the test series, whether Scotland can level the score or not for this year. We'll have to wait and see. So some interesting stuff going into this game in terms of recent performances. Scotland had a pretty lackluster Six Nations this year. They had a brilliant match in the opener against England where they won the Calcutta Cup, and then following that, yeah, really didn't perform to really let the fans down a little bit, especially against Wales. And yeah, that was a game where I felt like Scotland probably should have won, and Wales had like a lot of injury issues. Regardless, they still managed to squeeze out a win. So yeah, and then the team went on to having that infamous off-field incident where a lot of the players went out drinking after being told not to go out drinking following the Italy game. Which led to them pretty much get blown out by Ireland in the final test. And yeah, wasn't a happy season for the Scotland team. They came into July against Argentina. I think some of the players were missing in that trip as well. Like Finn Russell was missing. So Argentina was able to win 2-1. Pretty good performance overall for Scotland considering the circumstances that was given to the team going into July. They lost by 1 point to Australia. They beat Fiji 2 weeks ago. And they had that awesome performance last week against New Zealand where they could almost make history. So we'll have a look at that stats from that game in a little bit detail in a bit. For Argentina, though, this is quite a big refresh, almost rising from the ashes of the horrendous year that was 2021 for the Argentinian team. Michael Cheika took over, really turned the team around just like quite brilliantly. So Argentina has beaten Australia, record score at home. They beat New Zealand for the first time ever away in New Zealand. They were not able to beat the Springboks at all, which was a little bit disappointing to their fans. They did manage to squeeze out a win against England a couple weeks ago. They did not able to, and then they kind of fall off again, losing to Wales 20 points to 13. Again, where I think many people felt Argentina was a favorite going into last week. But anyway, let's have a look at some of these stats from the last 2 games for both teams. So Argentina versus Wales last week was Wales. The Welsh defense had Wales had a tremendously good defense last week. They really showed up and fronted up in their tackles, and Argentina was really struggling to make any sort of line breaks. Carreras. So Argentina is one of the teams. They have these set moves that they like to do from their set piece. It's almost like an NFL set play almost, where they try to do these plays, and if those from some of their set pieces, if those set plays don't really work out, Carreras simply don't have the experience to create something on the fly, it looks like to me. So really the game staled out for Argentina once the Welsh defense was not able to, once they couldn't breach through the Welsh defense with their set moves, so to speak. And yeah, despite Wales giving away quite a lot of penalties, and Argentina was quite good in their own part, they were not able to win this game to everybody's disappointment. The captain was missing for this game, which was a big loss for Argentina. So Julian Montoya was missing. So that is a huge factor for Argentina. But overall, the players play, give it everything they had. They look like on the field, just could not crack the defense. Like you can see here, some stats from the Argentinian attacks, like Pablo Matera. Where's Matera? 15 carries, 7 run meters. Just really the team really given it as much as you could possibly ask for, it seems like, and they're just not able to breach through the Welsh defense. That was really, really spectacular on the night. For the Scotland side, everybody is probably a little bit disappointed not to be able to win the All Blacks game. Scotland was in control of the game for the most part. Finn Russell, since really showed that he's that good. The team really cannot function without him. He's really taken Scotland from being, bottom of the tier 1 nation pecking order to something that could be challenging the top 5 spots in the world. He's just that good. He was up against Beauden Barrett, and he was clearly not just like a little bit. He was clearly the better 10 on the field on that day. Provided that Beauden Barrett haven't played 10 for quite a while now, but still, he was clearly the better 10. Beauden's kicking game was not accurate, was, really struggling a little bit under the high ball as well. And Finn Russell looked calm, collected, knowing exactly what he wanted to do, directing his players around. And just having him on the field brought a lot of more confidence as well with the players around him. One thing the Scottish team did struggle with was the scrummaging. Really, really bad. And a lot of this was the second half. The New Zealand scrum really dominated in the second half when the Scottish reserves came on. So, the one thing, so that kind of, leads into what I wanted to say. The Scottish team, whilst having a really, really spectacular, good starting team, the reserves really just weren't up to international standards, especially in the top level. So the reserves came on for Scotland. The performance just took a nosedive, essentially. That's where a lot of the scrum turnovers happened. A lot of the missed tackles happened. It's good to see that the Scottish made massive changes to their bench to address these issues. But it was really disappointing to see the Scottish reserves coming on and just literally fell apart. So some outstanding performances from the Scottish team that everybody really wanted to see for a long time now. Duhan van der Merwe, he has been underperforming in my opinion for quite a while now. This last week against the All Blacks is probably the best performance he's had this year, maybe 2 years. His work rate is just absolutely through the roof. 10 carries, 107 run meters, by far more than anybody else on the field. And he was literally busting through the defense of the All Blacks again and again and again. And something that everybody wanted to see for a long time now. And I was very happy to see that he was able to do so. The one thing maybe Scottish team could have worked on is try to link up with him when he makes those lane busts, because there was very, if you could get one of those offloads out of the way, it could be quite dangerous for the Scottish team to score. Also, Darcy Graham's the other guy, always does really well. Also put in a huge shift, 8 runs, 86 run meters. Another danger man on the field for the Scotland side. In terms of defending, a few missed tackles by some of the backs. Finn Russell tackled a couple. Stuart Hart missed a few, but overall not too bad for against the All Blacks, for playing against the All Blacks, to be quite frank. And with that being said, let's have a look at the referee. This game is going to be Carl Dickinson. He's an English referee. He's the buffest referee ever in the history of the refereeing. He's huge. He's got he definitely hits the gym. And look at him. He looks like he's ready to play. So he's going to be refereeing on the weekend. Overall, never really had an issue with him refereeing. I think he's quite decent. We shall see. I don't remember any controversy out of this guy before. And obviously, this is going to be played in Edinburgh. Bit of rain, bit of a cold weather. So it's going to be a bit wet. And Argentina do struggle a little bit in the wet, as we saw against the All Blacks in the Rugby Championship, where they got flogged essentially by the All Blacks in the rain. And so this might be a big advantage to Scotland, as especially the Scottish way of playing with the kicking game. The rain could really potentially hamper the Argentinians quite a bit. So let's have a look at the lineups. So Pierre Shulman comes in number 1 for Scotland. Fraser Brown, Xander Fagerson, the same setup as last week. Xander Fagerson, I thought was a little bit quiet last week, to be fair. Whilst the scrummaging was decent when he was on the field, I didn't feel like his involvement in terms of the ball carrying was there. He normally carries the ball a bit more. I thought last week he wasn't given that opportunity. Maybe the way Finn Russell runs the game is a bit different, but yeah, maybe hopefully we'll see a bit more carry out of him this week. In the Argentinian side, Julian Montoya returns to number 2. He had a bit of a rib injury or something, but he's good now. Returns to number 2. He's an absolute turnover machine and the breakdowns, so he's like crucial in like helping Argentina, getting those important turnovers to stop, to alleviate pressure time and time again for Argentina. Thomas Gallows is a Lucia prop, a young man who's been tremendous since he's been called into the starting team. He's a strong ball carrier, agile, and just, lots of energy, and he's as good as you can ask for a Lucia forward. This guy has so much talent. He could potentially, he's so young as well. I think he's like 25 or something, 24 maybe. He's probably younger than that, like maybe even 23. So he literally debuted last year, and now he's got the talent to potentially becoming one of the best Lucia props in the world. Yeah. He on his debut, he's got to try against the All Blacks, so that tells you how good this guy is and how dangerous he is. Eduardo Bello gets the number 3 jersey, a tight hair prop for Argentina. In the locking positions, Johnny Gray gets caught up on the bench to replace his brother, number 4. Grant Gilchrist gets number 5 jersey once again. This is a better combination in the locking position for the Scottish team. Last week, I did feel like I was a little bit, confused why Johnny Gray was on the bench last week. So this is their typical setup, and this is a better setup for the Scottish side. Matias Alemano and Thomas Lavanini, the standard setup for Argentina. Thomas Lavanini has really improved on his discipline. He was like the highest. He is still the player who's received most cards, whether it be yellow or red, in the world. But recently, since Michael Check has taken over, he's really worked on that discipline, and he hasn't. And that yellow card number is, especially in last, maybe 4 or 5 games, really starting to come down noticeably better. Matt Fagerson gets number 6 jersey for Scotland. Juan Martin Gonzalez gets number 6 for Argentina. Matt Fagerson. Yeah, sorry. Jamie Ritchie gets the number 7 jersey. He was tremendous last week against the All Blacks with his breakdown work. He's an absolute workhorse in the open side flanker position. He's up against Marcos Kremer, who's a huge guy for an open side flanker. He also has a bit of discipline issues, and he's a bit of a what do you call it? He has a bit of anger management issue as well, which I guess is a good thing when you're a rugby player, as long as you don't get a red card or yellow card. But yeah, Kremer, again, just like Lavanini, has worked really hard to temper down that discipline issue, that yellow card issue. He got to a point where he was getting exploited by his opposition to against France last year. One of the French players literally pokes him just deliberately to set him off, and got himself yellow carded. So yeah, he that was pretty, he got played pretty hard that in that French game last year. So he's really managed to get himself under control this year, and I still has a discipline issues. I'm pretty sure he's still the second highest penalty receiver in rugby championship this year, but overall much better than 2021. Jack Dempsey gets number 8 jersey, and little bit of interesting change here. Interestingly, Matt Fagerson is at 6, not at 8. So Jack Dempsey gets an opportunity at 8. The Aussie guy gets caught up from the bench. So yeah, he got a yellow card last week for as soon as he came onto the field. So I'm a little bit wondering what's the decision, how they came up to this decision making. He gets promoted from the bench to the starting team at number 8. I mean, he is a very experienced player. He played for Wallabies in 2019. So, yeah, Matt Fagerson moves away from his traditional number 8 jersey into the blindside flanker jersey. Maybe they try to add a bit more weight to the locks, behind the props, to give it a bit more weight behind the props for the scrummaging. Maybe that's their thought. But yeah, that's an interesting setup for the Scottish side. Pablo Matera gets number 8 jersey. Again, he's been absolutely tremendous for Argentina ever since his stint at the Crusaders. He's just learned so much and he's got so much better. He's by far the best player in the Argentinian side. At number 9 position, Ali Price is up against Gonzalo Bertrano. Number 10, this will be an interesting battle for the 10 position. Finn Russell, like I mentioned, his return to the Scottish team, he's brought in a lot of just, a myriad of different tricks to the Scottish attacking line. High balls, crossfield kicks, grabber kicks behind, cut out, whatever you want. He can do just about anything. He does things so unpredictable that his own teammate sometimes doesn't even know what he wants to do. With that being said, he knows how to exploit space when he sees it. He's not afraid to take a quick risk. So Finn Russell is quite a special player, and his goal kicking had been an issue in the past, but last week his goal kicking has been absolutely spot on. So yeah, he's definitely improved on that regards as well. It just keeps getting better for Finn. Santiago Carreras, like I mentioned, he's almost a rugby league style of number 10 for Argentina. Likes that short ball options, likes to take the ball and do a bit of a run himself, and then before he does the offloading. It's an interesting way that he plays. I do think that he still needs a bit more experience at the 10 jersey. I mean, he essentially is a replacement for Sanchez. So like I said, when the Argentinians execute these set moves, he can execute that extremely well. But when it comes to like creativity on the field, it does look like a little bit stale at times, especially if things aren't going his way. So that's kind of what happened against Wales. We shall see if that's going to happen this game against Argentina. Against Scotland. But yeah, I do think that Finn Russell will, put a few tricks out of his bag that Carreras can learn today. The danger man on the field for both teams, Duhan van der Merwe. Tremendous game last week. He needs another good game this week. With Finn Russell on the field, I feel like he's going to get utilized a lot more. Because Finn Russell and van der Merwe, they actually work quite well. Sometimes, we've seen like those crossfield kicks where van der Merwe is able to pressure and recover, quite devastating and quite brutalizing against the opposition. So yeah, van der Merwe gonna be a huge game. If I need a huge game from him to beat the Argentinians this weekend. Emiliano Boffelli is the goal kicker for Argentina. He has a really high kicking rate. He might be slightly better than Finn Russell in terms of percentage for goal kicking, but overall he's a great finisher. I'm pretty sure he plays in Scotland as well. I'm pretty sure he plays in Scotland, and he would know the players much better than he will have personal informations about the players, and he will be able to deliver that to the team. I'm sure he's quite handy with that regards. Number 12, Simone Tuipulotu, former Melbourne Rebel player. Next to him, Chris Harris, it's standard setup now for the Scottish team. Tuipulotu has been kind of like added into the 12 jersey early this year, maybe. He's pretty new to the team, and he's just been tremendous. Good hard ball carrying, exactly what you want, and some good offloading, combined with some solid defense. Not much else you can ask. I think he had like one, maybe even no missed tackles. Just an absolute work rate around the park. Everything you could ask for. Chris Harris, the veteran now for Scotland side, in that 13 jersey, ticks all the boxes. For Argentina side, again, this is a pretty standard setup nowadays for Argentina. Jeremino De La Fuente gets number 12 jersey. Matias Orlando gets a number 13 jersey for Argentina. Number 14, Darcy Graham. Again, despite being like the second best winger on the field for Van der Merwe, a lot of the games Darcy Graham outshines Van der Merwe just because of his sheer work rate and his own, determination on the field. So Darcy Graham almost scored a beautiful try against the All Blacks when he jumped into the corner, just touched the line a tiny with his foot. But yeah, just shows that he has that energy and has that willpower to try to, be better than Van der Merwe. Despite everybody thinks that Van der Merwe is the premier winger for Scotland team. So Darcy Graham is going to be extremely dangerous once again this weekend. Bautista Delgoy gets called into number 14 for Argentina in that number 14 jersey. Stuart Hogg versus Juan Cruz Malia. Interesting setup here. Stuart Hogg is absolutely one of the most important players for the Scottish team. A lot of the Scottish kicking game plays around Stuart Hogg, and Stuart Hogg having a good game is really like the key to Scotland winning. A lot of the times, the way Scotland beat England 2 years in a row, largely due to Stuart Hogg's tremendous kicking game. And last week he showed once again his kicking game was just so spectacular. Even the All Blacks were struggling to predict and to counter the way he plays. So Malia is going to have a bit of a task ahead of him to try to play the kicking game against Stuart Hogg. Malia is quite decent under the high ball, but I do think that his kicking game is not quite it's a little bit behind compared to Hogg. On the bench, changes to the props for the Scottish team. George Turner number 16. I think Hooker's changed it as well. I'm pretty sure. Let me have a look. One sec. Pretty sure they changed Hooker as well. The Hooker has been changed. So Edwin Ashman gets dropped. Rory Sutherland gets dropped, and Willem Nel gets dropped as well. So George Turner, Jamie Barty, and Murphy Walker gets the reserve front row positions. Ignacio Ruiz gets number 16 for Argentina. Nahul Tetaz Capado gets number 17 jersey for Argentina. Santiago Medrano, number 18 for Argentina. Again, the Argentina scrum is very, very good, and these guys are tremendously good at scrummaging as well. Number 19, Glenn Young for Scotland. Andy Christie comes in for 20 for Scotland. Lucas Paulos comes in for number 19 for Argentina. Facundo Izza comes in for number 20 for 20 for Argentina. Lucas is number 19. Ben White for Scotland, number 21. Blair Kinghorn, number 22 for reserve number 10. Cameron Redpath comes in for number 23 to finish off the back reserves for Scotland. And for Argentina, Lantaro Bazan Velez gets number 21 jersey. Nicolas Sanchez returns to the fold, number 22. And Matias Maroney gets number 23 jersey. So yeah, Sanchez, we have not seen him for almost a year now, I think. He's finally getting back into the fold for Argentina's side. And we shall see if Carrera struggles once again to find a break on the field. We shall see if Checkers might put Sanchez on the field early, and they might push Carreras back to the fullback position. And we shall see how they juggle that. The game, especially as well if Malia struggles with the kicking game against Stuart Hogg, they might also move Carreras to the 15 jersey, because Carrera does play fullback normally for Argentina, or historically for Argentina. So yeah, we'll just see how that goes. Let me know your predictions, guys. I think this is gonna be really close. I probably could even predict to be a draw, to be honest. I think this might be a draw. But I hope that Argentina is gonna win this one. But my predictions, I would say it's a draw. 21 points to 21. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later today, in fact, for the review. Cheers.